pero wala kang pagkain sa bahay. Narito na ang sagot mga katropa, ang Superman of Lechon, napapawi sa inyong gutom at siguradong mapapa-analyze ka dahil sa tender juicy na jam mo pa at siguradong malinis at bagong katay buhat sa farm, kaya super masalasa at pangmasa pa. Ano pa hinihintay niyo mga katropa? Takbo na sa Superman of Pande nyo siniluan at bumili na, baka maabusan ka, katropa. Responsable ka bang gun owner? At mahaba ba ang iyong pasensya? At hindi ba initin ang iyong ulo? Alam mo rin ba ang batas hinggil sa pag-iingat ng baril o firearms? Kung hindi,
A responsible gun owner.
Are you a responsible gun owner?
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 Are you a responsible gun owner? The PNP Civil Security Group would like to advise all firearms holders to renew their license to own and possess firearms and firearms registration within 6 months before its expiry date. Tumawag na at makipag-ugnayan.
Be a responsible gun owner.
One Gun Pilipinas ang sagot, mga katropa at kaganos. Tayo ituturo sa inyo ng One Gun Pilipinas o OGP ang lahat ng legal na paraan at proseso upang ikaw ay maging isang responsableng gun owners. Ano pa hinihintay nyo, mga kaganers? Sali na sa One Gun Pilipinas ngayon na.
Now, we are
Talakayin.
Biggest destruction of dangerous drugs worth 1.
Rebisahin. Opinyon. Malawakin. Aksyonan. Kasama si ROCEL LOPEZ, ang inyong katropa sa pagbabalita. Dito lang sa Millennial Online TV. Tutok na, mga katropa!
Ayan o. Magandang hapon, Luz Biminda. Magandang hapon, Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao. Magandang umaga, magandang tanghali, magandang gabi. Siyempre sa ibang bansa. Okay mga kaibigan, oras natin sa Udyat, alas 4:42 po ng hapon, Philippine Standard Time. At ngayon ay maaga natin sisimulan yung ating programang Tropa. Siyempre dito lang sa Millennial Online TV, News and Updates. At nako, magandang hapon sa ating mga netizens, sa ating mga Dabarcats, sa ating mga kabarangay, sa ating mga kuya, ate, bunso at Friends of Eagles, at gayon din sa ating mga kakiwanyans. Magandang hapon. Abay, siyempre po mami, ay tutungay natin sa inyo yung pong lagay ng panahon buwat sa DOST PagAsa. Siyempre po mag-uulat yung ating katropang si Obet Badrina. Tataka kayo bakit maaga tayo nagsimula. Abay mamaya po meron tayong pupuntahan. Nga lang yung pupuntahan natin, hindi ko alam kung mai-stress ako. Di bale, okay lang yun. Siyempre si Mudra yun Okay lang yun, walang problema. Kailangan mahalin natin ang ating mga magulang, ang ating ina't ama. Kung meron pa ang natitira, kung ama na lang, dapat mahalin din ang ating ama. At syempre kung ina na lang, ay dapat mahalin natin at ibuhos natin ang pagmamahal sa ating mga ina. Okay, so mga kaibigan, magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. At mamaya itutunghay ko rin sa inyo yung pong ginawa nating coverage dyan po sa ginagawang Sports Fest ng Kiwanis Club International Division 3B. Nako, kagagaling maglaro ng basketball. Gusto ko sanang maglaro. Ang problema, baka isang takbo ko pa lang. Nako, paktay na. Baka tumawag na sila na ambulansya. Pwede ko yung mga walkathon, yung mga tawag dito, yung may tawag doon track and field, no? Parang lakad, takbo ng konti, yung pwede. Ayun, magandang hapon sa iyo, June Francisco, si Kuyang June Francisco. Ba yung una ko nakita sa aking monitor, itong ating katropa, si Ma'am Jackie Lagpao Adahar, na LMT. Ano ba sa ibig sabihin ng LMT? Licensed Massage Therapist. At gayon din yung ating katropa, yung isang simpatikong kagawad ng Barangay Tugatog Malabon, si Barangay Kagawad Albert Betong Gamayaw. May palakpakan mo nga, Mr. J. Yan. At the same time, siya po ang Vice President ng Kiwanis Club International Division Tribute sa Tugatog, no? Kiwanis Club International Tugatog Malabon. At siyempre po ang aming presidente ay si Sir John Oreta. At magandang hapon din kay Oscar de los Reyes. Yan, mabuhay ka at ang Millennial TV sa mga ka-OGP. Ay, magandang hapon din nga pala sa ating mga ka-gunners, no, sa One Gun Pilipinas na patuloy na lumalaki, patuloy na lumalawak, patuloy na namamayagpag. Siyempre po yan ay sa pangunguna ng aming mga admin. Walang iba kundi si Admin Corexman na ngayon ay undergoing ng schooling. At ganyan din siyempre ang aming isang admin na si Admin Aljon Maghinang. Magandang hapon sa iyo, Kuya Aljon. Welcome sa programang Tropa. At bukod dyan, ayaw na magandang hapon din kay Mariano Herson. Ayan, good PM bro ROCEL. Isang pagbati namin sa 400 plus members ng Malabon Riders Club. Aba, dapat yun alam nyo, kaysa mag-Malabon Riders Club lang kayo, Herson, dapat mag-agila na rin kayo. Ang problema naman kasi sa'yo, ningas kugong ka lang. Yun ang problema sa'yo. Okay ka naman sana. Ang problema, ningas kugon ka. Ayun po si Mariano Herson. Ayan, at binabati natin ang 400 na miyembro ng Malabon Riders Club. Palikang maganda ka ako minsan, Herson. Mag-meeting tayo ng kasama yung sinasabi mong 400. Diba? Diba? Maganda na yan. At bukod dyan, kapag kayo naging agila, mas marami kayong makikita at magagawa pang serbisyo publiko at bukod doon siyempre trabaho. Paano sana makasama? Hindi, kayo muna sumama siyempre para mas maipaliwanag ko sa inyo. Wala namang problema, sasama rin kami dyan. Mag-merge tayo ng project Noon, sinasabi ko na yun sa Malabon Community Organization, di ba? Bigla ka naglaylo, hindi ko malaman sa'yo kung anong problema. May meeting, hindi ka pumupunta, marami kang dahilan, di ba? So, iyon ang ano doon. Kahit dyan sa Malabon Riders Club, Erson, may meeting, hindi ka dadalo. Siguro ko naman, di ba? Ano ba to, hindi dumadalo meeting. So, ganun lang yan. Ayun, sabi niya, done sharing na sa all GC bro. Okay, maraming salamat sa iyo. Sorry na, busy lang bro. Sige na, sama ka sa meeting bro. Special guest ka. Sige, walang problema, pasabi ka lang. Oo, kita mo, busy. Pero sa Malabon Riders Club, hindi ka busy. Diba? So ano lang yan, timetable, tol. Tanda mo, lahat ng bagay, lahat ng gawain natin sa buhay, kinakailangan lang ay timetable. Division of labor ang tawag. Kasi kapag ka in-insist mo sa sarili mo, sa isip mo, hindi ako dadalo kasi ganito, hindi ka talaga makakadalo. Pero kung alam mo, ikaw ay merong responsibilidad, no? Ako, katulad yan, sa Kiwanis, nakakadalo naman ako. Nga lang, siyempre, hindi naman natano, di ba? So, yun ang ibig ko sa ikaw mulat sa pool, one time ka lang dumalo, hindi ka lang dumalo. Kaya ako sa Kiwanis, kaya naman ako hindi nakakadalo, hindi ako sinasabihan ng aming BP. Hindi ako pinipm ng BP namin, kaya hindi ako nakakadalo. Buti na lang, piniem ako ng aming past president. So, okay lang. Sige, walang problema. Magpasabi ka lang bro, basta wala tayong coverage, wala tayong lakad, walang programa, pupunta ako. Okay, sa mga kaibigan, ako menos 10 na lamang bago sumapit ay kalaman ng hapon. At mamaya itutungay din natin sa inyo yung pong ginawang Pandesal Forum, no? Ang pinag-usapan doon about sa charter change o pagbabago ng ating form of government. Payag ba kayo? Ewan ko kung papayag yung iba dyan. Lalo na ito sina Kagawad Betong Gamayaw. Hindi ko lang alam pag nagbago at nag-prosper itong Chacha, kung mawawala na ba barangay. Hindi ko alam. No, alam mo, hindi naman tayo masyadong Ayan, si Kagawad Betong Gamayaw, isa po sa simpatikong kagawad ng Barangay Tugatog Malabon. At syempre po sa pangunguna ng kanilang kapitana na simpatika naman, si Kapitana Lara Cruz, si Mamala. Ayan. May palakpakan mga Mr. J. Ayan. At yun nga, sinasabi ko sa inyo, yung pong Kiwanis Club International ngayon ay gumagawa po ng isang sports fest, no? At ginawa nga po, meron po doon sa headquarters, no? Natapos yung dart, yung table tennis, at ngayon po yung kanilang basketball. Actually, kasama dapat ako, nga lang, hindi ako nakakapaglaro pag walang uniform, Ha? Joseph, ha? Kala mo naman magaling mag-basketball. Pwede naman akong towel boy. Pwede akong water boy. At magandang hapon din sa ating katropa, sa ating kuya, no? Si Kuya Aldrin, ha? Sumakay. Ito po yung miyembro po ng PNP na nakatalaga po sa Campo Crame. Nako, ng bola pa. Yung uniform, ha? Huwag mo iba na usapan, Kuya Aldrin, ha? Meron ka pang napakagandang lalaki, yung uniform. Mas magandang lalaki ka sa akin. Kaya mo siya, pagka naman kami nagpagawa ng club shirt, bibigyan din kita. Give and take lang. Kaso una ka nagpagawa Yung nakita mo suot ko, jersey lang yon na generic. Walang club logo yun. In-order ko lang yun sa tabi-tabi. Pag nagpagawa kami ng club shirt, bibigyan din kita. At yung uniform ko, dyan po si Kiwanis Club International. Kailan kaya ibibigay sa akin ng aming Vice President? Dalawa na yung nakaabang doon, alam ko Aba, siyempre, Miss Jack. Minsan kailangan dati mag-basketball, magtagtag ng pawis, ng matagtag, para medyo mabawasan ang ating pats, ang ating baby pats. Na-Alaska na naman ako ni Miss Jack. Yung salitang yun, alam ko na yun Hindi, kailangan naman yung Miss Jack. Kahit naman konting takbo lang, shoot, okay na yun. Para matagtag lang, mabawasan ng taba, tumulo pawis, okay na yun. Hindi naman natin kinakailangan maging power play na Dati, nung bata tayo, minado ako, naglalaro ng basketball, talagang power play. Ako nung power guard Isa nagpa-power forward ako nun. Wala talagang ganon, tanda na tayo. Medyo kailangan konting takbo lang, hindi na kailangan yung ganon. Sabi ni Kuya Aldrin, daw, hindi, pumunta ka muna rito, dalhin mo muna yung uniform mo, is para sa akin. Pag nagpagawa na kami ng shirt, bibigyan din kita. Okay, sa mga kaibigan, huwag na nating patagalin. Medyo ngayong araw na to, kung napapansin nyo, maganda sikat ng ating haring araw. Hindi ho siya umulambon, hindi siya umulan, at hindi rin siya kumulimlim. Alamin natin, sa ating katropang si Obet Badrina, ano ba lagay ng panahon? Baka mamaya, bigla tayong bulagain. No? So, narito po, mga kaibigan.
Magandang umagaw ng Lunes sa inyong lahat at narito na po ang lagay ng ating panahon ngayong January 29, 2024. Makikita nga natin sa ating latest satellite images na patuloy ang pag-iral ng northeast monsoon o hanging amihan, partikular na sa malaking bahagi ng ating bansa na patuloy na magdadala ng malamig na mga gabi at generally fair weather, lalong-lalo dito sa may western section ng ating bansa. Samantala naman, makikita natin itong bahagi sa may silangan ng Mindanao. Ito ay cloud clusters na maaring magdala ng maulap na kalangitan na may mga pag-ulan, lalong-lalo na sa bahagi ng Caraga at Davao Region. Kaya sa mga kababayan natin sa may eastern section ng Mindanao, iba yung pag-iingat sa mga posibilidad ng mga biglaang pagbaha at pagguho ng lupa. Wala pa rin naman tayong nakikitang anumang posibilidad na magkaroon tayo ng bagyo sa mga susunod na araw. Posible nga, lalo't patapos na ang buwan ng Enero, ay wala tayong inaasahang magiging bagyo within the week. At narito ang ating inaasahang panahon dito sa bahagi ng Luzon. Makikita natin dito sa may Cagayan Valley Region, Cordillera, kasama na rin itong bahagi ng Aurora, Quezon at Bicol Region. Patuloy na makararanas ng maulap na kalangitan na may mga mahihinang pag-ulan na dulot nga yan ng northeast monsoon o hanging amihan. Samantala, sa nalalabing bahagi ng Luzon ay patuloy na makararanas ng mga isolated o pulo-pulong mahihinang pag-ulan. Yung agwat nga ng temperatura natin sa lawag, nasa 19 to 30 degrees Celsius. Sa Baguio, 12 to 22 degrees Celsius. Sa bahagi naman ng Metro Manila, nasa 21 to 28 degrees Celsius. 18 to 28 degrees Celsius naman sa Tagaytay. Habang sa Tuguegarao, nasa 20 to 27 degrees Celsius. At dito sa may bahagi ng Legazpi, inaasahan natin nasa 23 to 29 degrees Celsius. Dumako naman tayo sa may Palawan, Visayas at Mindanao. Sa bahagi ng Palawan, inaasahan din natin ng mga isolated o pulu-pulong maihinang pag-ulan na may temperatura sa Calayan Island nasa 25 to 30 degrees Celsius, habang dito sa may Puerto Princesa City ay nasa 24 to 31 degrees Celsius. Magiging maulap naman ang kalangitan na may mahihinang pag-ulan sa may bahagi ng Eastern Visayas, yung area ng Samar Provinces, kasama din yung Biliran at Leyte Provinces. Sa lalabing bahagi naman ng Visayas, itong Western and Central Visayas ay makararanas din ng mga isolated o pulu-pulong mahihinang pag-ulan. Yung agwat ng temperatura sa Tacloban nasa 24 to 29 degrees Celsius hanggang 29 degrees Celsius sa Cebu, habang 24 to 28 degrees Celsius sa bahagi ng Iloilo. Dito sa Mindanao, inaasahan din natin ang maulap na kalangitan pero mas malaking tsansa ng mahina hanggang sa katamtamang mga pag-ulan at kalat-kalat ang mga pagkilat-pagkulog dulot nga nito ng cloud clusters na papalapit sa may bahagi nitong Mindanao, particular na sa may eastern section. Itong cloud cluster na to ay trough o extension ng low pressure area. Mga low pressure area ito sa may bahagi ng equator. Yung agwat ng temperatura natin sa may bahagi ng Cagayan de Oro ay 24 to 29 degrees Celsius. Sa Davao, 23 to 30 degrees Celsius. Sa Zamboanga naman, nasa 23 to 32 degrees Celsius. Nalalabing bahagi ng Mindanao, makararanas pa rin ng mga isolated rain showers and thunderstorms para sa araw na ito. At dahil naman sa northeast monsoon o hanging amihan, may nakataas pa rin tayong gale warning dito sa may northern seaboard ng Northern Luzon, yung bahagi ng Batanes, kasama yung Calayan at Pabuyan Islands. Meron din tayong gale warning sa mga baybay ng Southern Luzon. Ito yung area ng northern eastern coast ng Camarines Sur, kasama yung Catanduanes, eastern coast ng Albay, northern eastern coast ng Sorsogon, kasama din yung Occidental at Oriental Mindoro, at itong Palawan, kasama yung Calamian, Puyo, Kalayaan, at Cagayancillo Islands. May nakataas din tayong gale warning, yung babala natin sa mga malalakas na alon ng karagatan sa may bahagi ng Kabisayaan, ang northern, eastern at Samar provinces, kasama din yung Biliran, itong bahagi ng Leyte, gayon din itong southern Leyte, yung Antique kasama yung Caluya Islands, Iloilo, Guimaras, Negros Occidental, at gayon din sa may Negros Oriental. May nakataas din tayong gale warning sa may bahagi ng Mindanao, partikular na sa Dinagat Islands, sa Surigao del Norte, kasama yung Siargao at Bukas Grande Islands, gayon din sa Surigao del Sur, silangang bahagi o baybayin ng Davao Oriental, at dito sa may bahagi ng Zamboanga del Norte. Sa mga binanggit kong lugar, delikadong maglayag yung mga maliit sa sakyang pandagat, maliit na mga bangkap dahil nga maaari yung karagatan dulot ng northeast monsoon o hanging amihan. Narito naman natin inaasahang panahon sa mga susunod na araw. Makikita natin sa Kamaynilaan, dito sa Baguio at Legazpi City ay makararanas pa rin ang epekto ng northeast monsoon o hanging amihan. Posible pa rin yung mga isolated o pulu-pulong mahihinang pag-ulan. Yung agwat ng temperatura in the next 3 days dito sa Metro Manila ay mula 22 to 31 degrees Celsius, sa Baguio 12 to 23 degrees Celsius, habang sa Legazpi ay mula 22 to 30 degrees Celsius. Dito sa may Kabisayaan, inaasahan natin na lalapit itong trough o extension ng low pressure area, yung cloud clusters na binabanggit ko kanina sa may bahagi ng Central at Eastern Visayas. Kaya sa mga susunod na araw hanggang araw ng Huwebes, posibleng maulap na kalangitan na may mga pag-ulan yung mararanasan sa Cebu at sa Tacloban, habang mga isolated rain showers and thunderstorms naman sa may Iloilo City. Yung agwat ng temperature in the next 3 days sa Metro Cebu, mula 24 to 30 degrees Celsius. Sa Iloilo naman, mula 24 to 30 degrees Celsius, at sa Tacloban, 23 to 30 degrees Celsius. At sa Mindanao, kung saan nga lalapit itong cloud clusters o trough na or extension ng low pressure area, malaki yung tsansa ng mga pag-ulan sa may bahagi ng Metro Davao at gayon din sa may Cagayan de Oro City sa susunod na 3 araw, habang mga isolated rain showers and thunderstorms naman sa bahagi ng Zamboanga City. Sa Metro Davao, 23 to 31 degrees Celsius ay nasa ang temperature in the next 3 days. Sa Cagayan de Oro, 24 to 30 degrees Celsius, habang Zamboanga City ay 23 to 33 degrees Celsius. Ang araw natin, sisikat, ganap na alas 6:25 na umaga at lulubog, ganap na 5:53 ng hapon. At sundan po rin tayo sa iba't ibang mga social media platforms, sa X, Facebook, YouTube, at sa ating website pagasa.dosa.gov.ph. At live po na nagbibigay ng update mula dito sa PagAsa Weather Forecasting Center. Ako naman si Obet, Badrina. Maghanda tayo lagi para sa ligtas na Pilipinas. Maraming salamat po sa inyong pagsubaybay.
Okay, maraming salamat sa iyo, katropang Obet, Badrina. At agatid sa atin yan sa oras na eksakto, alas 5 ng hapon, oras sa buong kapuluan. At nako, nakita ko yung isa nating katropa, no, na simpatiko rin, na ito naman ay barangay kagawad po ng barangay Pulo, dyan po sa Valenzuela City. Walang iba kundi si Boss Kagawad, paring Bengbeng Lichauco o Ruben Almoite Lichauco, na hindi ko alam kung nakabalik na galing ng Thailand, ng Bangkok. Tama ba? Saan ka ba galing, Boss Kagawad? Sa Thailand ba? Diba? At doon, wala lang, naisipan niya lang pumunta ron, nag-shopping, namili ng mga kung ano-ano, at ewan ko lang kung nakabalik na si paring Bengbeng. Ewan ko, baka may pasalubong sa akin ito. Joke lang. Siyempre, kinakailangan po tayo, mga kagawad, entrepreneurs, negosyante, dapat naman nagkakaroon tayo ng relaxation sa sarili. Kinakailangan nagre-relax din tayo, hindi yung puro trabaho, di ba? Lahat, kahit sino dapat magre-relax. Kasi pag di ka magre-relax, baka bumigay ka kaagad. Hindi pa oras, bumigay ka na, kaya mahirap din. Okay, so mga kaibigan, alas 5:02 na ng hapon, Philippine Standard Time. Buti pa'y panoorin na natin, no, yung ginawa nating coverage dyan po sa may Valenzuela City, kung saan po nagsagawa ng Sports Fest ang Kiwanis Club International Division 3B. So ito po, at yan nga po, at nakapanayam natin yung pong mga kinaukulang, katulad po ng aming Vice President na si Vice President Betong Gamayaw, Past President Edwin Ocampo, at Presidente po, dating Presidente ng ibang club na si Presidenta si Pres Mixi Palma. No? Narito po. Narito ang Millennial Online TV News Update. Ang 21 nitong Enero taong 2024 nang simulan ng Public Service Group na Kiwanis International ang Sports Fest ng kanilang hanay. At ang mga nakilap dito ay ang mga kasapi o miyembro ng Kiwanis International Division 3B, kung saan ito'y bahagi pa rin ng serbisyo publiko at isa na itong nasabing palaro upang palakasin ang kani-kanilang mga pangangatawan na isang paraan ang pag-ehersisyo. At ayon kay Barangay Kagawad Betong Gamayaw ng Barangay Tugatong Malamon at siya rin Vice Presidente ng Division 3B ng Kiwanis International, kailangan din anyang mag-ehersisyo o magdibersyon at magpahinga ang bawat public servant.
Kiwanis Week ng aming club.
So, bakit ginawa itong sports fest? Ito ba yung kasama yung public service din dito?
Ito yung parang sa mga Kiwanis naman, sa pahinga sa mga pagpoproyekto. So, kailangan naman namin magpapalakas ng katawan, ma-encourage din yung ibang mga kabataan at yung mga ibang sa komunidad para at least maling sa sports. Yun ang unang aming activity.
So, bali sa Kiwanis, no? Ano-ano ang mga laro na ginagawa nyo rito? Bukod sa basketball.
Una na namin, natapos na namin yung pagbabiking. Then tapos ng biking, nagkaroon na rin kami ng tournament sa dart and table tennis.
Ano pa?
So, eto nga yung ginaganap natin, etong basketball, etong January 28. Kasi nung January 24, yun yung sinimula namin yung dart competition, tsaka yung table tennis. So after netong basketball, hindi pa namin ma-schedule yung bowling kasi nagsiset pa kami. After the bowling, then yung badminton. Yun ang aming mga activities na gagawin.
Dito ba, Vice, kung sakali, yung mga mananalo, meron bang mga premyo from Kiwanis?
Hindi, mga ang pinaka-premyo na, trophy lang, tsaka plaque. Yun lang ang amin. Kasi bali sa Division 3B, meron kaming limang club. Kaya nandiyan yung Black Palm Valenzuela, Kiwanis Valenzuela, Tugatog Kiwanis Club of Tugatog Malabon, Kiwanis Club of Tugatog Malabon Achiever, tsaka Kiwanis na Botas.
So, bali ilang division?
Gems pa rin pala kasama ang
Ilan
Malabon Gems.
Ilan lang?
Bali, 6 pa lang kaming club na Division 3B.
Ayun. So,
na
yung mga
bumubuo.
taga-ibang lugar, probinsya, hindi nakasali muna rito.
Hindi. Dito lang sa Division 3B lang ginaganap to. Pero sana, probably na magkasama-sama rin pagpatuloy yung Kiwanis Week namin.
So, bali, Vice, hanggang kailan itong sports fest ng Kiwanis?
Hanggang matapos siguro, baka hanggang February, yan ganyan. Or tapos gagawin ng regular siguro para at least.
Regular na yearly?
Oo, yearly na. Baka gawin na namin siguro kung sa club ng KCTM, kami gagawin na namin regular ang basketball tsaka dart para at least meron pinaglilibangan ang bawat club.
Okay, so mga kakiwanyan, siya po si Vice President ng Division 3B ng Kiwanis International. At the same time, barangay kagawad po ng barangay Tugatog dyan po sa Malabon. Baka may panawagan kasi ibang mga kakiwanyans na hindi lumalaro na ito.
Oo nga. Sana, hopefully, ma-join yung ibang mga Kiwanis club natin na yung mga hindi naglalaro, kulang ang player. Sana po, ilaro nyo. Sayang, para magpapawis tayo at gumanda ang ating kalusugan. Tsaka biha po, President na John Bautista, hopefully, sana maka-attend ka ngayon. Thank you very much.
Ayon naman kay Kiwanyan Mixi Palma, dating presidente ng Kiwanis Black Farm, kahit retirado na siya, ay patuloy pa rin niyang gagawin ang tumulong sa tao.
Anong division ka ng Kiwanis?
Sa Black Palm, past president.
Past president. So, si Kuya past president siya ng Kiwanis. Kaya bakit sumali ka dito sa sports? Wala ka bang mga trabaho o negosyo?
Wala na, retired na tayo. Exercise pa.
Ayun.
Camaraderie, ika nga.
Ayun. So bilang Kiwanis ka rin, miyembro ng Kiwanis, ikaw ba active, regular pa rin na dumadalo sa mga gampani sa Kiwanis?
Yes. Opo.
Okay. Bakit Kuya Prixie, bakit anong nalagay sa isip mo? Bakit binubuhos mo ang iyong sarili dito sa Kiwanis Club?
Actually, hindi naman to full time. Paminsan-minsan lang to. So, pag may ganitong mga activities kami, okasyon, kaya na-attend ako. Pero most of the time, sa pamilya siya. Yun naman.
Pero, siyempre, ito public service, Kuya.
Okay.
Ito ba, siyempre, di ba naging hadlang sa pamilya mo yung ibang gastusin, salip na para sa pamilya mo, nakakatipan na
hindi naman. Hindi naman ganon. Kasi, unang-una, yung asawa ko, nagtatrabaho pa. Saka yung mga anak ko, may trabaho din. Ako naman, pensyonado. So, wala namang problema sa gastusin. Hindi naman namin pinoproblema yun.
So, pero minsan, hindi ba sumagi sa iyo, sa pamilya mo na, tayo pa, tumigil ka na, dito na lang tayo. At siya magagastos ang kapatid.
Hindi naman sumagi pa sa isipan namin. Kasi sa ngayon nag-enjoy ako. Kasi wala akong ginagawa. Instead na nandun ako sa bahay,
Servisyo ka na.
magsiservisyo naman.
So, ano ang mapapayo mo sa katulad ng mga retired na sa nila ibus ang kanilang mga sarili?
Ang may papayo ko lang, yung mga lalong-lalo na yung mga retirees na, maghanap kayo ng paraan para kayo ay maging busy. Kagaya nito, ako ay retired na. Marami kaming activities, so doon ko binubuhos yung aking spare time. Kasi, pag retired ka na, napakahirap kayo na wala kang ginagawa. Siguro yun ang mangyayari madali kang mamatay. Diba?
So,
para maging 63.
63, siguro 63. Senior na, pero kita mo, gawang bakal pa.
Hindi naman.
Okay, thank you.
Ayon naman kay Kiwanyan Edwin Ocampo, Vice President ng Division 3B ng Kiwanis International, dahil sa lagi na siya nagpupuntaan niya ng ibang bansa, kaya ipinasa muna niya ang responsibilidad sa pagkapresidente ng grupo. Pero hindi siya mawawala sa pagsama pa rin ng public service program ng Kiwanis.
Okay, ngayon kapiling natin yung past president, no? ng Division 3B ng Kiwanis Club International, si Boss Edwin Ocampo. Sir, bilang past president, dito ka pa rin, active ka pa rin. Bakit? Samantalang hindi mo pabayaan na lang na muna sila, mag-focus ka muna sa trabaho, etc.
Hindi, kasi kailangan ng ano yan eh. Kahit na tapos na yung term ko, kailangan pa rin ng mga miyembro natin ng guidance. May mga bagay kasi na ginagawa ko nung presidente ako, kailangan matutunan nila yung lahat. Tapos yung key project na binuo ko nung last year, tuloy-tuloy naman. Last December, nagawa ulit namin, pangalawang taon na. So every year gagawin namin yun. Kasama ka doon, bro. Kasi
sa mga bata.
Oo, sa mga bata. So, ang ano natin dyan, tuloy-tuloy lang yung mga project sa mga bata.
So ano may advice mo doon sa pumalit sa iyo bilang presidente dito sa Division 3B ng Kiwanis?
Si Pres John magaling din siya. So, alam ko kung kayang-kaya niya yun, kaya siya yung napili ko eh. Actually, dapat ako pa eh. Kaya lang, hindi ko na magagampanan eh. Kasi, pabiyahe-biyahe na ako eh. So, hindi ko na kayang gampanan yung tungkulin bilang presidente. Kasi lagi ako nasa ibang bansa ngayon.
So, bali, Pres, ano ba siya? Appointee o nag-election?
Hindi. Ginawa ko, nag-snap election kami ulit para may pumalit. So, majority naman si Jan.29.
So, bali, ang termino ba ng isang presidente ng Kiwanis, bali ilang taon?
Supposed to be, pwede ka naman ng 3 eh, 4, pwede yan. Kung hanggat gusto ka ng miyembro. So, katulad ko, kung di lang ako alis, ako pa rin dapat yung presidente. So, kagaya nga sabi ko kanina, hindi ko magagampanan yung pagka-presidente kasi lagi na ako nasa ibang bansa.
So, pinasa mo
kaya si John ang nanalo doon sa election namin bago.
So, ayan, mga kakiwanya, siya ang past president, pero kung hindi, at least siya bumibiyay dahil sa trabaho, siya pa rin malamang. Kasi actually, naabutan ko ang pamumuno ni Boss Edwin, talagang maganda naman ang mga bata, nabibigyan ng tulong, 2 taon na yun, 2 beses. No, kaya ito, siyempre, unahin muna trabaho, una pamilya, pero ito pa rin siya active.
Okay, thank you, pre.
Dagdag pa ng grupo ng Kiwanis, matapos itong isinasagawa nilang Sports Fest, ay balik ulit sila sa pagsasagawa ng serbisyo publiko para sa taong bayan. ROCEL Lopez para sa Millennial Online TV News and Updates. ROCEL Lopez para sa Millennial Online TV, ang katropa mo sa...
Ayun po, yun po yung ating kinover dito pong nakaraan lang, no? Bali nung linggo, kahapon. Diyan po sa may basketball court sa may Manotok Subdivision sa Valenzuela City. Congratulations, Kiwanis Club International Division 3B. Siyempre sa pangunguna po ng aming presidente, si President John Oreta ba o Bautista? Hindi ko ano. Hindi kasi ako lagi nakaka-attend eh. At congratulations din kina Barangay Kagawad Betong Gamayaw, hindi kay Past President Edwin Ocampo at kay Past President Mixi Palma. Aba, nanonood pala sa atin si Boss Makmak, anak po ni Kagawad Sani Dadad Pineda ng Barangay Tugatog. Yun ay kakiwanyas din natin. At the same time, aspirant po natin sa Cellar 45 Eagles Media Riders Club. Ayun, Boss Makmak, hindi mo na ako sinagot yung PM ko sa iyo. Ayun, si Pres John Bautista. Oreta ako ng oreta eh. Si Pres John Bautista. Ayan, congratulations sa Boss John. At hindi ko siya nakarating, anak ko siya sa Binyag, no? Yung pamangkin ng kanyang wifey. Okay lang yon, talagang gano'n minsan.
minsan nasasabay siyempre. Okay mga kaibigan, alas 5:15 na ng hapon, Philippine Standard Time. Ayun, nakita nyo naman ha, yung in-interview nating kagawad, simpatiko. Talagang iba dating, no? Pangkapitan na. Ha? Ayos ba yung kagawad? Ha? Oh, si Boss Makmak, PM mo ko ha. Yung PNM ko hindi mo ko sinasagot. Okay, at siyempre si kagawad Ruben Almoy Tilichaw ko ng Barangay Pulo sa Valenzuela. Pagkano pare, meron kayong mga pwede mo akong kontakin para ma-cover din. Hindi mo ako pinipm eh. Okay, sa mga kaibigan, at tuloy-tuloy tayo sa ating programang Tropa. Tulad na sinabi natin sa inyo, abay tunghayan natin yung pong ginawang pandesal forum naman dyan po sa Quezon City, sa Kamuning, kung magasaan ay pinag-uusapan yung about sa charter change, no? Wala natin, kayo ba, pabor kayo sa charter change, yung pagbabago ng form of government ng ating bansa? Wala natin, meron ako naririnig, parang meron lang daw gumigiba kay Pangulong Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. Mayroong tumatrabaho. Wala natin, hindi natin alam. So mga kaibigan, panoorin natin at pwede kayo mag-comment, magbigay ng inyong opinion dito po sa forum na ito. At syempre, bago yan, magandang hapon muna sa One Gun Pilipinas, dyan po sa Cebu City. Nandun yata si Admin Aljon Maghinang, no? Magandang hapon sa inyo at welcome sa programang Tropa. Okay, sa mga kaibigan, tunghayan po natin ang ginawang pandesal forum dyan sa Quezon City.
Good morning, everyone. We'll start in a few minutes. Kung okay na, pakisabi lang Larissa and John Ray. Okay na. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to a very unique Pandesal Forum. We have here today book launching of a book by Center for People Empowerment in Governance. Sempeg. This is a very interesting book authored by Professor Bobby Tuason. The title of the book is Spies, Clan Politics, and a New World Order. We will discuss not only the book, but also our two distinguished speakers today they would also be willing to answer any questions regarding current political and geopolitics issues. Pakilala ko lang each one of them, and then we will invite each of our distinguished speakers to give their opening statements. Before I introduce them extensively, I'll mention lang their name muna. Of course, the chairman of the Sempeg think tank is a nationalist think tank, is very distinguished University of the Philippines professor. Dr. Temi Rivera over there is the chairman of Sempeg. Later on, he will give his opening statement. And then here we have the author, Professor Bobby Tuason, the author of the very exciting, interesting, thought-provoking book. Nabasa ko na yung preview, very interesting. Let us now, I will introduce muna, mauna si Professor Kayanan. The chairman of the Center for People Empowerment in Governance, or Sempeg think tank, and very well-known political analyst, intellectual, nationalist, Professor Dr. Temi Rivera, chairman of Sempeg. Welcome for your opening statement.
Thank you, Wilson. Well, Sempeg is very proud to launch its latest publication, no less than the Anthology of Works by our Director for Policy Studies, Professor Bobby. And meron akong ginawang short forward tungkol sa libro ni Bobby and also yung context saan sinulat ito. No? But very briefly, pwede nyo mabasa yung forward. Able to access the book later. Ang the unique contribution of this book is it is an incisive commentary, reportage on some of the most consequential developments, political, economic, geopolitical development in the last 30 years by yung coverage mo, pare. The last 20 years. So you can imagine the span and reach of these commentaries. Bobby, of course, belongs to a rare breed of yung tinatawag nating public intellectuals. Ito yung mga intellectuals who have the courage, but at the same time, the incisiveness to make sense of ongoing events. No? Kasi ito yung napakahirap sa kung minsan yung pag-intindi ng konteksto ng mga nangyayari, hindi lamang sa ating lipunan, kundi sa buong mundo. No? Kaya ito yung malaking contribution ng libro ni Bobby. Ang mahalaga ay yung pagbibigay ng mas kumpletong konteksto para higit nating maintindihan yung mga nangyayari sa ating kapaligiran. No? So, in that sense, I think Bobby is one of the very few of yung tinatawag mga public intellectuals who are able to do that with the courage, the dedication, and the discipline to analyze these complex events. And siguro sa open forum, higit nating maintindihan kung bakit napakahalaga yung pag-intindi ng ganitong konteksto at kung bakit napakahalaga yung ganung contribution na ginawa ni Bobby. Maraming pong salamat.
Thank you very much to Professor Dr. Temi Libera, Chairman of CENTEC. Now we'd like to invite the author of the book for his opening statement. I have a very short introduction of the author. He has a very impressive, distinguished biodata, but I summarize it for the sake of today's PagAsa forum and book launching. Professor Bobby Tuason is an award-winning former University of the Philippines professor and chairman of the Political Science Department. Also, he is now the director for policy studies of the Center for People Empowerment in Governance, a nationalist and progressive think tank. He is a renowned politics and geopolitics analyst and expert, also cited by UP Manila as a distinguished educator, and also the Hall of Famer distinguished faculty, an award-winning educator. Professor Bobby Tuason is also co-author and co-editor of more than 15 books. I think this is number 16 already. Let us welcome Professor Bobby Tuason.
Thank you very much. Thank you also to Danny for coming over to this panel. Good morning, everyone. I will not give you a lengthy overview of the book, but I'm sure part of you will buy a copy later.
Naka-reserve na ako ng kopya, Agad tayo.
In any case, my book, which covers 2001 to 2023 rather, last year, is a one-year project. I was rather than fun by my partner uncovering to publish a book of my own. It's about time, she said. And so I began this first things first by reviewing all the analysis, the commentaries, and special investigative reports that I read for the past 30 years. Yeah, well, I've been coming up with political analysis, sometimes economic analysis since 1986. And thus, this is the first volume. The second volume will be coming out soon to cover the first years. When I wrote my initial political analysis. Um, the title of my book is Spies, Clan Politics, and a New World Order. Spies or espionage actually opens a chapter or is an anthem on American backed counterinsurgency in the Philippines since the 1950s, as personified by the close advisor in anti-insurgency to then President Ramon Magsaysay. To fight the old hooks, not the current NPA, but the old hooks, or HMB, na ang liderato niya ay pinangunahan nila Luis Barong, no? At saka yung mga Lava brothers. I was fortunate enough to open the National Archives of the Washington State University in Washington itself, and I opened the archives with regard to Philippine insurgency, and so it was a rich trove of materials that I used to write a series of articles about Blackstone and about the involvement of Ferdinand Marcos then. This 2 or 3 part series was published by the Graphic Philippines. Then edited by our colleague in the press, Inday Barona. Yeah. I thought that I should share my discovery to the Filipino people so that they will be able to unearth the truth and the images behind the anti-insurgency in the Philippines that resulted in numerous killings for the division until today. So this particular article is very relevant to today because, rebellion or armed revolution is a taboo. That would be reactionary government, especially the military, instead to amplifying massive operations, extrajudicial killings of rebels, assassinations. The latest of which happened last year, the arrest and extrajudicial killing of the top leaders of this in Sabah. So it's ongoing. Now, clan politics, of course, dominates then and today's Philippine politics, especially electoral politics. We're about at least 107 political parties government the electoral process, both before Marcos and post-Marcos period. The post-Marcos period would include the families of Villar, Pelitano, Duterte, of course, again, restoration of the Marcos family, and so on. No? Season, the Season family is the oldest political family that is dating back to 1823 in the opposite. Now, the New World Order is something that I have been interested in writing about. And today, there is a historical note is the fact that the world order has transitioned from the so-called unipolar system centered on the U.S. hegemon or U.S. imperialism, and today is transitioning to a multipolar system. The transition from unipolarity to multipolarity is not without its conflict. And over the past 10 years, there have been civil wars and armed conflicts all over the world, starting with Afghanistan in 2002 and Iraq in 2003, which is multiplied by Bush's war on terror against Saddam Hussein, then the leader of Saddam Hussein, who was arrested and then hanged secretly. Today, we are now in the not threshold, but already happening multipolar world order. In the light of the decline of American power, and in the light of the decline of the Western centered power, it's now Asian centered this third century. And we have seen, of course, the rise of China, which is now the second largest economy, soon to become the world's largest economy, with much technological advancement and innovation like AI, electric vehicles, EVs, the largest airplane, and so on and so forth. Now, unlike the US and the Western powers, who were able to build their power by military means, conquest, colonial conquest, etc., today's rising major power is driven by economic ascendancy, especially of China. But of course, the US does not want to value itself of its global hegemony. And therefore, I think this is the reason behind the current tensions, maritime tensions in the South China Sea, in the Taiwan Strait, and of course, not to mention the current Ukraine versus Russia war in Eastern Europe. And then over the past 8 months, the Israeli terrorist attacks since October 3 on the Hamas. That is unfolding to expand in other parts of the Middle East, like Lebanon, Iran, and Turkey. I think Turkey predicts that it will be involved in this Israeli war 3 months from now. Or if Israel gets involved and Iran gets involved, then it will be practically a Middle Eastern confrontation of military, large-scale military competition and military war. On that note, I'd like to invite everybody to read my book that is published by the Centec. And don't forget to approach the table to write your own copy. Salamat, Wilson.
Thank you very much, Professor Bobby Thompson, for a very interesting and thought-provoking overview. Also, Professor Dr. Temi Rivera, for your thoughts. We'd like to open the floor for questions, not only the media guests here and guests, but also those watching via Facebook Live, via Zoom. Please feel free to text or message your questions. We have some questions. One of the first questions came from a student, Polytechnic University of the Philippines student. I'll get his question later. There's a question here first for Professor Bobby Passon. Um, and for Dr. Temi Rivera, in the headlines lately are two big news. One is the controversies about charter change. And number two, the news is President Bongbong Marcos somebody wrote that he was the only head of state out of 180 plus countries with diplomatic relations with China, who personally publicly greeted the newly elected leader in Taiwan, the political leader, who is controversial also because China considers him a secessionist leader. These two topics, can we ask both of you to give some analysis and comments? Yes.
I will respond to the second question. Just to correct some statistics, China has, by today, diplomatic relations with almost all countries in the world. The latest of which is Nauru.
Yes, the day after the election.
Yes. Which severed its diplomatic ties with Taiwan. As I was saying, the current maritime tensions in the South China Sea, as well as in the Taiwan Strait, have been brought about by the principal rivalry between China and the United States, which of course has precipitated some legal issues, but I will not dwell on that anymore. From Korea's perspective, what drives the U.S. to take a strong provocative presence in the South China Sea is its refusal to give up its global hegemony, over which it considers China as the quote-unquote the most existential threat against U.S. power today. But of course, there is some kind of balancing that tensions between the two countries. There is, shall we say, a stick and carrot relationship. Like last November, Joe Biden and President Xi Jinping of China met on the sideline of the APEC summit and tried to resolve their differences. And that has resulted in some positive points. Like there was an agreement that there will be an exchange of about 50,000 students between the US and China. And the first 50 are now already in Qingdao. Where's Qingdao again? Jiangdong, in China today. The second phase of the so-called ping-pong diplomacy between the two countries. My thinking is that the main reason why such tensions still are sustained until today is the pivotal intervention of the so-called U.S. military industrial complex. In other words, to call us the deep state, which is a collaboration, conspiracy, if I may use the term, between car manufacturers and Congress under my power. Congress because politicians in the U.S. during campaign period received huge, humongous amounts of campaign money from for instance, Taiwan, very strong lobby influence, and also Israel, the Jewish lobby, which is well known for persuading congressmen, legislators in the U.S. Congress to come up with military support for Israel itself. And of course, the weapon that is doing such intervention is the White House, of course. The White House being the executive policy making by the U.S. government. So there are complexities, and I think some of these complexities have been discussed in my book. And again, I would like to invite everyone to examine the content of my book. Now, about the Taiwan Strait, the U.S. then Marcos representing the Philippine government until today distorts the One China principle. The One China principle that was reached between the countries sometime in the 1970s or mid 1970s talks about or allows the principle that there's only one China and that secondly Taiwan is an island province of China. This has been violated several times by the U.S. by, sending a delegation congressional leader like their House Speaker Pelosi, Nancy Pelosi, and then recently another congressional delegation went to Taiwan to congratulate its new president. So these are completely, aside from that, of course, the continuing military support that the U.S. Delivers to Taiwan in disregard of the one China principle. Why did Bongbong Marcos congratulate the new president of Taiwan? It's really it's really a quiz problematic. But I would like to say, as other analysts also say, that this is in violation of the One China principle adhered to with the Philippines. And it is quite shocking. Who might have advised Bongbong Marcos to express such statement? I would like to invite, of course, the Senate through its oversight committee to review such statement. They say that this is in the light of the presence of oaths that we used in Taiwan, thousands of them, benefiting the Taiwan economy. But the Taiwan economy is completely in the on drugs. It keeps on importing Philippine labor to prop up its economy for that matter. Thank you very much.
I will respond to the second question. Tungkol dun sa current move once again to amend or revise the Constitution. Well, we know very well that every administration has sought to revise, amend its own Constitution, whether through the so-called PIRMA initiative, the attempt for a constituent assembly, So, once again, we have to ask the question, ano ba talaga yung problema na gustong masolusyonan at masusolusyonan ba yung urgent problems natin by revising or amending the Constitution, We all know that kung kung sa pananaw ng taong bayan, ang konteksto ng pangangailangan ng Chacha or whatever you call it, we all know that based on credible surveys, wala talagang clamor, interest, pagnanais ang taong bayan na pabigyan na naman ang na magkaroon ng revision or amendment ng ating constitution, because we know very well that our most urgent problems have to do with, and again, this has been shown by all kinds of credible surveys, ang mga pangunahing problema natin talaga are one, inflation, no? Napakataas na bilihin ng mga basic commodities natin, no? Magsisimula na sa rice, no? Inflation, yung problema ng employment, no? Problema ng poverty and inequality, problema ng learning poverty, nagkaroon na nga ng bagong konsepto to describe, no? Yung kalunos-lunos na performance ng ating mga estudyante. Yun ang dapat pinagtutuunan ng pansin ng ating mga legislators, policymakers, and executive officials. Ngayon, can you actually resolve those questions by amending or revising the Constitution? We submit that that is not the proper way to address our problems. Kasi, no matter how you change existing laws and rules, kung hindi naman nagkakaroon ng, sabihin na nating policymakers and executive leaders who are determined to address our most basic problems, wala pa rin mangyayari. Okay. So kung hindi constitutional change or revision ang solusyon, ano yung solusyon? Well, we know very well, halimbawa yung argument nila na napaka-restrictive daw ang ating economy. We also know na nagkaroon na ng mga bagong batas, very recent laws passed, which in fact now has resulted in a very open and liberalized economy, no? Yung revision sa halimbawa sa Public Service Act, no? Pwede ng 100% ownership ang ating airport, railways, telecom, no? Among others. Kung talagang ang pangangailangan ay more foreign investment, we already know that the more crucial problems have to do with corruption, no? Napakataas na presyo ng ating power rates compared with our neighbors in Southeast Asia halimbawa, no? Yung predictability of laws, yun ang mga tinitignan ng mga foreign investors. Yun ang mas immediate concern nila para pumasok dito, no? Yun ang dapat concern ng ating mga mababatas and executive officers, no? So, again, of course, balikan natin ano ba talaga political agenda itong mga nasa kongreso natin or even executive officers by again trying to revive whether it's firma or a constituent assembly. I think ang problema dito ay the moment that inopen up mo yung possibility or yung charter change or revision, you also open up the possibility of more basic political changes. Ibig sabihin, halimbawa, I think yung, this is my reading of the situation right now. Immediate context is 2025 and of course, the forthcoming 2028 election. I think there is a fear by those associated with the presidency, sabihin na natin the Marcos Romualdez Club. There is an increasing fear that under the current system of electing presidential election, direct election of president, And if the candidate looming for the Marcos Romualdez faction is Speaker Romualdez, mukhang delikado sila. And so, one possible political agenda is a revision of the Constitution to shift to a parliamentary system na kung saan mas malaki ang chances of the Marcos Romualdez bloc. No? So that is one possible agenda. Nobody is articulating it, of course. Pero a deeper reading of the context, posibleng yun ang mas long-term, short-term, or middle-term in the context of the 2025 and long-term context in the context of the 2028 elections. Laying the political groundwork, in other words, to weaken what the Marcos Romualdez faction believes is the looming threat to their desire to continue their dynastic hegemony in 2028. So, yun ang reading ko. No? Thank you.
Very interesting and very profound analysis by our two very talented and experienced analysts and experts on geopolitics and politics in our headlines today. We wish our leaders, our politicians should go back to your classes to enroll and learn some wisdom from our two distinguished speakers. Very thought-provoking kwento nila. May tanong dito, I will read the question. Somebody by Zoom listening to us here from Polytechnic University of the Philippines. I will get the question. The college student asked a question. The question here by Mr. Alejandro Jose Carrion Reboa, a college student of Polytechnic University of the Philippines. Question. This was said earlier. What is, I hope, di pa nasagot to. What is your honest and clear assessment about the current reality and probability of having a full-scale conflict in our region and the future consequences of the approaches of the Marcos government being hostile to China, especially allowing EDCA and new military EDCA bases and allowing new military agreements with Japan, Canada, Australia, and other countries. This is a question by Alejandro Jose Carrion Reboa of PUP for our two speakers.
Well, definitely, obviously, there are basic and threatening hard-time tensions between China and the US and also the Philippine government, the South China Sea. But my fear and absolute position is that there will be no total war between these powers. The total war, as you know, or the third regional war, so to speak, will already involve nuclear weapons. That could even invite retaliatory reactions from Russia and other friendly and other countries friendly to China. So I give no room to the possibility of such war. I would like to take the position on the recent policies of the Marcos Jr. government. As everyone knows, since September 2022, for a few months after the election of Bongbong Marcos, right inside the White House. Marcos Jr. has expressed close defense alliance with Joe Biden inside the White House. And such expression has led to the addition of new EDCA, or the Extended Defense Cooperation Agreement with the Philippines and UN. With the recent EDCAs added by Marcos Jr., close to or near the Taiwan Strait, giving advantage to American facilities. EDCA also means there are military facilities over there in Satele, in Cagayan, in northern part of the Philippines. As a expression of support by the Marcos government in its threat against China over its technically speaking ally, Taiwan. So, ganun yung nagiging figura dito. But as I said, there will be all this will not lead to any nuclear or open large-scale confrontation between China and the US. Fortunately, a recent event shows in the news that Marcos Jr. is talking with China really in an effort to de-escalate the tensions and differences between the two countries, the Philippines and China. And they have established a new level of communication, which is already a duplication that has been established by Duterte and his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping way back in 2007. So this is already existing, this bilateral dialogue mechanism, which was put into play since 2017, and I think there have been already a number of dialogues that have taken part between the two countries under Duterte. But this had suddenly been ended with the unfortunate passing away of Ambassador Chito Gonzalez Carmana, our dear friend, Chito. So there are some kind of a balancing act happening today, and which the Marcos government should take. It can't win a war against China because it will always depend on the US. Neither can there be a war between China and the US for reasons that I have already expressed earlier. So I'm confident that cooler heads seem to be talking. There is again a rapprochement between China and US. President Biden, and all things considered, there seems to be a positive pathway toward an ultimate peace in the
Questions now. Pakibigay microphone. Any questions in economy? Sabi naman na
Mutually negotiated peace nephew, who is now the Secretary of Agriculture. So, hands-on,
yes.
mission mo ito.
Napabangkit yan. May tanong mo pala, sorry na na-miss out natin. Two journalists in Zoom asking this last question for the two political and geopolitical analysts here. What are your opinions or comments about all these non-stop rumors about the stabilization, with even the chief of staff of the AFP mentioning it in public? Is it true? Is it not true? Is it part of influencing the president or making him worry? Or is it real? Are there any real threats of destabilization? What are these talks all about? How do you analyze all these news and rumors? Ano yun, gawa lang nila yung news or talagang meron or is it sign of not strong leadership? Ano ba yan? All these talks about destabilization. Yesterday, last night, an ADB banker, top banker, asking me about it, nagulat ako. Asking me about destabilization. What are your views now? In the reception, because tinanong ako, so what is his views?
Yung destabilization, coup rumors, and actual coup data have been taking place for the past 40, 50, almost years now. I think, although this is just my prognosis, the current plot, which is synthesized into the so-called dangerous signs, coming from a group of generals aligned with Esperon, I think, are meant to put a pressure on Bongo Marcos, either to stop the intended peace negotiations with the NDFP or to stop diplomatic efforts with China. So either of those two scenarios, I think, is being played out from that particular perspective. I don't know how Temi would look at it.
Well, the last few, only about a few days ago, President Marcos himself came out with a statement directing General Browner. I'm paraphrasing, hindi ko na matandaan yung exact quote, no? But in effect, he was saying we should find new ways to deal with the threat. So, medyo nakakabahala rin, no? Okay, what do we know? Again, we have to be very careful with my statement because I'm also basing it on what appears in the media, no? One, it's being mainly pushed mostly by retired officers. That's one fact that we know. And most of them, if not all of them, are linked in varying degrees with former President Duterte. That's the second fact. Okay? And GMA, you mentioned General Esperon, malapit yan kay former President GMA, no? So, former retired generals who are closely associated in varying degrees with both former Presidents Duterte and GMA. And so, bakit nangyayari yan? Assuming na serious ito, no? One, there could be many precipitating factors. Remember, one major problem was the retirement law ng military. Remember, there is an attempt to reform the retirement law for all military personnel and uniformed personnel. Kasama na dyan ang mga firemen, mga Bureau of Freedom, critical sector, and they were opposed to the proposed new retirement law because very briefly, kung hindi nyo pa alam, under the existing retirement law for our military and uniformed personnel, one, ano yung mga benefits nila? First, they do not pay. Habang nasa active service nila, they do not contribute to the retirement fund. Can you imagine? All of us contribute, whether you are with GSIS or SSN.
Even public school teachers. Yes.
Sila, wala. Okay. Once they retire, yung retirement fund nila is automatically indexed with whatever changes ang na mangyayari dun sa last rank nila. Meaning, okay, let's say nag-retire ka as, sabihin na lang natin, colonel. 2 years later, nag-iba yung yung salary nung current colonels in the rank. I-adjust automatically yung pension mo to reflect yung changes na yon. Okay? In that sense, napaka-privilege sila, no? Now, anong implication yan sa fiscal situation natin? We all know, sabi nga ni former Budget Secretary Joke, no? Unsustainable yan. In fact, matagal na natin dati na-resolve yan kasi every year, financial grabe yung budgetary deficit kasi nagbibigay tayo ng pension, wala namang pinanggagalingan na pension fund nila. No? Anyway, nagkaroon ng malaking backlash yan sa military. Hindi pa yata fully resolved ito, no, Sani? Wala pang concrete law. Pero natigil din yung discussion dahil na-realize ng mga legislators, naku, mabigat pala ito, no? Baka magkulitan na dahil dito. That's one. The second has to do with because these generals are associated, yun na nga with Duterte and GMA, ayaw din nila yung signals, later signals coming na baka may investigate si Duterte ng ICC. That's another issue, no? Pangatlo, nabanggit na oppose din sila in general sa resumption ng peace process. So, kumbaga, ito yung mga fuel that seems to be behind this ever plot or conspiracy. But then we also know that the U.S. is completely behind Marcos. So, and we know that the military is completely dependent on the U.S. Assuming na serious sila, do you think the U.S. will allow Marcos to be whatever, whether in a coup or any other means, be forcibly taken out of the presidency, and then you have somebody like Vice President Duterte becoming president? Very unlikely yung scenario. Moreover, kung serious talaga yung coup, hindi natin dapat alam. Right? Kung serious talaga yung plotting, we would not even know about it hanggang talaga bumanat na sila. So those are the things we need to consider.
Very interesting. Ang galing. Alam niyo, in the future, we need 5-6 hours to discuss all the details. Ang galing, very, very profound and very enlightening. Thank you very much again to our two speakers, Dr. Temi Rivera, Chairman of CENTEG, and also the Policy Analyst, Director of Policy Studies, and the author of the new book, Professor Bobby Tuason. Thank you very much. We have a tradition here. Thank you. Thank you for enlightening us. Alam mo nangyari sa atin dito. Akala ko marami na akong alam. Akala ko I'm a very well-read person. I don't sleep very much at night because I keep reading. I thought I already know a lot. But every time I listen to Dr. Temi Rivera and Professor Bobby Tuason, feeling ko ignorante pa ako. Marami ako natutunan in just this one session. So thank you very much for educating us. And through your writings, we spread also your wisdom. May tradition tayo dito, Professor Bobby Tuason and Professor Temi Rivera. We have to have a picture with the Pande son para matuwa pa ng dero namin. And you have to hold your new book.
Okay, so yun mga kaibigan, napakinggan natin, ano? Kaya ako, para sa akin, kahit anong form of government, basta't importante, yung mga nanunungkulan, maayos lang ang gagawing pagpapatakbo ng ating gobyerno para yung ating mga kababayan, yung mga Pilipino, mga tao, ay hindi po mahirapan. No? Yun lang naman ang ano ko doon, yun ang pinakamaganda. Okay, so mga kaibigan, sa oras na alas 6:10 po ng gabi Philippine Standard Time, abay magandang gabi po kay Sarge Mendoza, no, yung ating kuya na nasa gitnang silangan, na malapit na po bumalik ng Pinas. At makikita nga po kami, no, at mag-uusap kami ni Kuya Sarge Mendoza. Okay, muli po mga kaibigan, maraming salamat sa lahat po na sumubaybay ngayong araw ng Lunes dito po sa programang Tropa, Monday Edition. Siyempre dito lang sa Millennial Online TV News and Updates. At maraming salamat po kay Miss Jackie Lagpaw Adahar, kay Kuya Aldrin Sumakay, kay Boss Ruben Almoy Tilichauco, kay Kagawad Bengbeng, at ganyan kay Boss Makmak, Pineda, anak po ni Kagawad Sanidad at Pineda, at ganyan sa ating mga kakiwanyans, no, kina Vice President o kay BP Betong Gamayaw ng Division 3B ng Kiwanis Club International. At syempre gayon din sa ating mga kuya, ate at bunso, and a friend of Eagles, no, particular sa CLR45 Eagles Media Riders Club, sa ating mga aspirant kina ate Gina, Kuya Teng, Kuya Marvin, Kuya Leo, Kuya Maxi, Kuya Glenn, Kuya June na nasa abroad silang dalawa, at Kuya Angelo Macaraig na nasa Quezon ngayon din nakadalo, at gayon din yung iba pa nating aspirante, no, sina Kuya Wilton, sina Kuya Peter na hindi rin nakadalo. Okay, so yun mga kaibigan, at ating mga kagunners, yung ating One Gun Pilipinas, no, magandang gabi sa inyo. Okay mga kaibigan, muli ako po yung naging kasama, ka-jamming, kakosa, kabarangay, kakuya, kaate, kabunso, ka-gunners dito po sa programang Tropa. Ako po inyong lingkod, ROCEL LOPEZ. Magandang gabi Pilipinas at mapayapang magdamag. Magandang gabi po. Responsable ka ng gun owner? At mahaba ba ang iyong pasensya? At hindi ba initin ang iyong ulo? Alam mo rin ba ang batas hinggil sa pag-iingat ng baril o firearms? Kung hindi,
A responsible gun owner.
Are you a responsible gun owner?
Are you a responsible gun owner?
Are you a responsible gun owner?
Are you a responsible gun owner? The PNP Civil Security Group would like to advise all firearms holders to renew their license to own and possess firearms and firearms registration within 6 months before its expiry date. Tumawag na at makipag-ugnayan.
Be a responsible gun owner.
One Gun Pilipinas ang sagot mga katropa at kaganos. Tayo ituturo sa inyo ng One Gun Pilipinas o OGP ang lahat ng legal na paraan at proseso upang ikaw ay maging isang responsableng gun owners. Ano pa hinihintay nyo mga kagunners? Sali na sa One Gun Pilipinas ngayon na! Ikaw ba'y nag-iisa? Nalulungkot? Dahil iniwan at ipinagpalit? Niloko? Naging minamahal? Kung ngayon, i-type sa inyong mga cellphone, Facebook o YouTube man ang Millennial Online TV. Dahil nasa Millennial Online TV na ang online realista ng bagong miling, si Randall Villanos.
Sana'y di magmaliw ang dati kong araw nang di pang bata sa piling ni nanay. Nais kong mauli ang awit ninang mahal. You are the one who makes me happy. on through the rain. Walk on through the rain. Though your dreams be tossed and walk on with hope in your heart.
At haharanahin kayo ni Randall ng iba't ibang awitin para maibsan ang inyong inip at kalungkutan kahit nasaan man kayo.
Hanggang sa tumanda. Come on. Matanda na, sana'y di tayo magbago.
At pwede rin kayo makiduet kay Randall tuwing Huwebes ng hapon. Ano pa hinihintay nyo mga kamilenyo? Tawag na! Barangay, pangunahing unit ng pamahalaan lokal kung saan dito pinag-uusapan ang bawat sigalon ng mga residente ng bawat barangay. Dito rin pinag-uusapan ng mga piling halal na opisyal na barangay ang mga proyekto para sa kanilang barangay. Kumustahin natin ang panunungkulan ni Kapitan dito sa Dalo Barangay sa Millennial Online TV Worldwide, ang katropa ng bawat barangay.
At tinatapos ang ating pagpupulong. Maraming salamat po sa inyong pagdalo at tapos na po ang ating session. Enjoy na po tayo.
Hanap mo ba ay Unwind Ventures? Tara nang mamangha sa mga tanawin. Ano man ang iyong travel goals? Dadalhin namin kayo. Sa Unwind Ventures at saya. Dito lang sa Wow Biyahe. Kaya wow, di ba?
Abangan dito lang sa Millennial Online TV.
Now,
Talakayin.
Biggest destruction of dangerous drugs worth 1.
Rebisahin. Opinyon. Malawaking. Aksyonan. Kasama si ROCEL LOPEZ, ang inyong katropa sa pagbabalita. Dito lang sa Millennial Online TV. Tutok na mga katropa!
Pinaigting, pinalakas ang bagong News Online TV ng bagong milenyo. Millennial Online TV, ang katropa mo sa pagbabalita.
Hi, this is Hilary Gadon. Nananawagan ako sa ating mga katropa, no? At mga kaibigan, mga kababayan, na palaging tumutok sa
Millennial
Online TV. At yan ay pinangunahan at yan ay pinangangasiwaan ng aking kaibigan na si ROCEL. At ang mga nanunood dyan ay hindi bobo!
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Kayang mag-ibig, pero sa sinakanan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Upang hinirang, kuya ka ng mag-ibig, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisigil, sa nagtatagtutok sa simoy at sa langit ng bangaw, ay ginagang tulad, awit sa pagkayang minamahal, ang isang lang matawad mo'y tagumpay na nag-iingin, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di magiging